How much money can you afford to lose? Now, when buying a business, you shouldn't lose any money, but people do. And that's because they make mistakes. Please don't make mistakes. Learn from mine. I bought tens of millions of dollars worth of business between myself and my clients, and I know where beginners fail, and I teach them not to do the same. And I was also a beginner once as well, right? So I'm going to share with you what I did and what most people do when buying a business for the first time, so you can avoid making these rookie errors. If you appreciate me sharing my failures so you don't have to make the same mistakes, please share the love by hitting the like button. By the way, I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. I'm going to give you 5 rookie errors that you don't want to become a victim of. Right? It can cost you tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. But by far, number 5 is the ace up your sleeve that can help you avoid all of these. So please do not look past it. First and foremost, number 1, do not rush. I felt like I needed out of my job as soon as possible. I was just really over it. And so what I did is I put a time limit on myself, and I just rushed into this whole make money online thing. And because I had a time limit, I was emotional about achieving, my first acquisition and trying to do it very, very fast. This meant that I turned a blind eye to many things and just bought something for the money to make the money back as soon as possible without truly understanding the risks. So my first business I bought, I did as much due diligence as I could on it as possible from learning from myself, which is mistake number 1. And also, I didn't tell anybody about this acquisition because if it failed, I didn't want anybody to see me as a failure, and I didn't want to be judged by my family, friends, and society. So that was a massive rookie error right there. And what I missed in some of the due diligence was that it was a database of wholesalers and suppliers that drop shippers would pay a monthly fee to access, and I didn't audit the list and the database of all the wholesalers and suppliers to see how current they were, how many products they had, how long they've been in business, how long they intend to stay in business, how well they were actually doing. So eventually I realized after a year that the database that I had wasn't fully up to date and refreshed and good and clean. So my product wasn't really that good. So it's a massive mistake. Right? So the second big mistake is you do not need the skills to run or grow the business that you're going to acquire. This held me back for many, many years, and it holds so many people back. This thinking does not allow you to get results. So working in my business and doing all the work myself limited how fast I could actually grow the business and make more money. I bought businesses at the start and I learned skills to run them. But stuff that, you don't have to learn the skills to run the business. You don't have to run the business yourself. You can hire people to do this. And it's very, very cheap to do that. And there's an abundance of cheap labor for online businesses and online work. I can guarantee you there's so many people in the world that work current job that will do almost anything online to earn an income that can help you grow your business. And then you have those people that have more skills than others. Tap into those. And what I suggest you do is you do this before you even actually feel ready to hire them, because these are the people who are typically going to come with their own SOPs, their own way of doing things, because they've done this certain task many, many times that can allow them to get results in a faster manner, which means you can pay them even cheaper, right? Because they're very good at what they do. I also don't like typically paying per hour. I like to pay per result. So think about that one as well. Keep that in your little back pocket there. But what I realized is the longer that I kept doing tasks in my business, the longer I stayed stuck in my business and stuck with scaling, right? Because I was an operator, not just an owner. I've done a great interview with Michael Lee Gerber from the E-Myth, who talks about the difference between being an owner and being an operator. It's basically the difference between working in your business as an operator and being stuck and feeling stuck and spending your hours on producing results and fulfilling orders and servicing your clients versus working on the business to serve more people and make more money and scale the business. So I stayed stuck for a very, very long period of time. So it's a double-edged sword of thing that you need to know and have the skills to run the business that you're going to acquire and to do it as well. If anything, it really stifles growth. It's a massive misbelief that you need the skills to run or grow the business. You can just hire them out, like I said before, quite cheaply. This is what I help my clients do. I help them build teams for their businesses so they don't have to run the business as well. So please don't let that that hold you back when you're acquiring a business. There's so much good labor out there. Now, the third big mistake is bigger being better. So the larger the price tag of the business, typically the more the business makes, which is also generally the less work involved for an owner, and also the smaller the risk compared to a smaller business, right? A larger business is far more established and has less environmental risks. So if you're investing to make money, then make your life easier and go bigger. Bigger is better. That is mistake number 3. People try and buy smaller businesses to test the waters, right? So some people may have 100K, for example, in capital that they are willing to and can invest, and maybe they don't want to jump right in with 100K. So what they want to do is they want to test the waters, and they go away and think that they can buy a $10,000 business first, and if that works, then they can make it work with a $100,000 business. Now, this is fundamentally flawed thinking, because a 100K business is 10 times more established than a $10,000 business. It also makes 10 times the amount of money, has typically 10 times less risk, and 10 times less amount of work required to run and maintain the business and or even grow it, right? So think about it that way. So I've actually had an experience where people have had 50 grand to go away and acquire a business, and they said, I'm going to buy something for $5,000 and see if it works. They bought a $5,000 business, and I've just watched them struggle for a whole year to try and grow this $5,000 small business, tiny business, and it didn't really work for them, and they just struggled. They weren't putting the cash injected into it, and the hours required to scale a thing was ridiculous, and they just wanted to get an ROI back on it. It was only $5,000, but if they bought a $50,000 business, their life would be completely different, and they would have had more resources to put into the business, would have been able to hire labor to get results without, putting too much capital into the business. So think about it that way. I also think about it with finance as well. What if you got 100K, could you go buy a 100K business for cash, or what could you achieve with finance as well? I have other videos as well explaining how much businesses actually make, and also what wage you can get if you're acquiring $1 million business with 100K worth of finance. Typically, you're going to be getting like a $200-ish thousand wage, right? Or $100-ish thousand wage, depending on how much finance you use. So starting small stunts your growth. Bigger is typically better. And if you're not at that level where you're able to go bigger than, say, $20,000, maybe it's worth you getting yourself into a position where you have enough capital behind you, you have enough income that you're willing to take that risk on buying a larger asset, and or having other assets as well, like other investments, which can allow you to have a better risk tolerance. So typically, I think bigger is better, bigger is easier. Number 4, a seasoned set of eyes goes a long way. The mistake I made when I first started, like I said before, is I was too scared to ask for help by buying my first business. Like I said, I didn't want to get judged by society, and I didn't want anyone to know that I failed in case I did, which is just an absolute kook move, right? Not only was I scared of someone judging me, which a seasoned professional wouldn't be scared of, because, a seasoned professional investor, they know they're going to fail anyway. They just don't see themselves as a failure, which is a failing mistake anyway, puns intended. And a seasoned professional, knows that I'm a beginner, right? And I'm starting off from scratch. So of course I'm going to make more mistakes, especially if I don't listen to videos like this from Jaryd. So literally I was just setting myself up from failure from the start. So if you're buying a business and you're doing it yourself, please decide to have a professional overlook your due diligence, help you with valuation and offers. And this just pays incredible dividends, right? It's so important. You can't see what you can't see, right? There's certain, like, people submit businesses to us that they've done due diligence on in our buying online business community. And what happens is they do due diligence, and we oversee their due diligence, and they list out all the risks and stuff like that, and see all the risks. And there's still so many risks that they do not see, that we point out for them because they don't know they're there. And by us pointing out those risks and sharing with them, like, hey, look at this. Have you thought about this? Have you seen this? Get more questions, ask about this. They start to see the risk. So we share with them. We help them put on a set of glasses which start to see more risk in businesses. And identify which risks are worth taking and which risks aren't worth taking when they're acquiring a business. So have somebody look at your work, because you don't know what you don't know. That way, when you buy a great business and you have somebody that holds your hand, that knows how to identify risks and knows what a good business is from a bad business, they're going to be able to help you grow and run it as well. Fifth one is get support before and after ownership. Life is tough at times, and because I want life to be fun, light and enjoyable, I have mentors and I have therapists and I speak to professionals in all different areas of my life, like, coaching in surfing and advice for what type of surfboards to buy and everything, right? And I have people to help me move through these certain things, through these certain challenges. And, how hard is it to buy a surfboard, or how hard is it to, get better at something when you don't have somebody helping you, right? Now, think about that in relation to business, which is a bigger investment. Business is pretty tough. So why would I not have someone to support me through this whole transition? Business coaches and mentors are seriously worth their weight in gold if you find the right one. And I was the kook who just held off spending good money on having people help me, and it held me back. I saw the price tag of a bunch of different coaches and mentors, like $5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. I was like, there's no way I can spend that amount of money on that. It was a big ask for me. It was a lot of money at the time. I just kept seeing that I was spinning my wheels in business and trying to get ahead, and I was going to all these free seminars and not getting results. And then I found the people that were getting results were the people that were paying good money to these mentors. And so what I did is I started to spend the money. And as soon as I started spending money on coaching and help, I made quantum leaps in my business and in my income. So do yourself a massive favor, get support during acquisition and after acquisition to buy a business. That's basically it. If you want help, I can give you some free resources. Head to buyingonlinebusiness.com/free resources. I got my due diligence framework. A lot of people use this. Also, if you're acquiring a business under the 500K range, I can help you with what I talked about with our membership. And/or if you're buying something larger and you like stuff that I don't have time to do due diligence, I don't have time to learn it. I acquire businesses for people. I'm a buyer-side M&A advisor. And if you're looking at something from 7 figures up, let me know. Reach out, Jaryd@buyingonlinebusinesses.com. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, share some love, and I'll see you on the next one.